Arkansas's on the road at Mississippi State. Bama just laid waste to Arkansas last week, and I hope you people are happy with yourselves because KJ Jefferson, quarterback for Arkansas, probably doesn't play this Saturday on the road at Mississippi State. Quarterback's in a bad way there. Okay, secondary, in a bad way there. We saw that last week. Bad vibes around that team. Most of the time, I know Arkansas pretty well. Most of the time when Arkansas is going into the game, if they're a dog and they're going to pull that thing, you normally feel it. There's like a little groundswell locally. I haven't felt that this week. And that line's crept all the way up to like 9 in favor of Mississippi State. Mississippi State had that click-on moment for them last week in Starkville against Texas A&M, the remnants of which will come into Tuscaloosa Saturday night. I don't feel this at all. Mississippi State's won the last 2 in this series by 18 or more. So I'm going to put this at a 3. I don't get that upset vibe. Will Rogers is rolling. I don't get that upset vibe. And more importantly, I don't think anyone around Arkansas gets that upset vibe. Michigan is at Indiana. This is a game that's going to be off everyone's radar. The line on this thing's over 3 touchdowns. And I know what a lot of you are thinking, because a lot of you just flat out don't believe in Michigan yet. And I'm not telling you they're Bama or Ohio State or Georgia, but I think they're a pretty good team. And I think that this game with Indiana ready to sell out against the run is probably the kind of game where J.J. McCarthy sort of a little bit goes off, maybe not to like a Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud level, but kind of goes off and probably has his statement game. I know it's a letdown spot. I know it's a look-ahead spot. That's why I think the number's only 22.5. So if you want to talk to me about Indiana covering, I'll listen to you. If you want to talk to me about Indiana winning, I probably don't have a lot of time to listen to you. I'm going to put that one at a 3 on the scale of 1 to 10. The game that, full disclosure, I was going to be at. I was not going to be in Tuscaloosa this evening. I was going to be in Dallas. We were going to be out at the Red River Shootout, like we were last year. But then life happened. And life can do funny things to you. You know, life did a funny thing to Texas in week 2, and Bama goes into Austin and beats Texas, for example. And we were there for that game. Texas, though, feels like they're kind of ready to hit a reset button. They're all the way up to a 9-point favorite. And this opened at less than a touchdown, but you got a couple of news bits today. You know Quinn Ewers is playing now for Texas. He has not played since that Bama game, the first half of that Bama game. We also likewise do not think Dylan Gabriel is playing for Oklahoma. And, man, I don't feel a lot of energy around the Oklahoma program. They have fumbled the bag horrifically the past 2 weeks. So you've got the quarterback dynamic there. You've got the memory of last year. I'm on the field for this game last year, and it almost feels like it's a runaway for Texas, and all the Texas folks are standing around you, and they're saying, nope, 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 it's not over. Trust me, it's not over. And they were right. And Oklahoma storms all the way back, and they win. So you've got the quarterback edge. You've got recent history on your side. Oklahoma's defense is in complete and utter shambles right now. So got a buddy back in Nashville, or I guess Charlotte now, Trey Scott, who claimed this line was going to get to 10. It looks like he may be right. I take Texas. I take them by double digits. I put this at a 5 because I understand the rivalry aspect. I've seen this game last year, true story. At halftime, I walked myself up the tunnel. I walked out of the stadium, got a funnel cake because it's at the state fair, and then I made it back in by kickoff of the second half. So it's a really incredible atmosphere. But we're not there because we don't go cover 2 lost teams in October. That's just the way it is. That's why we're here instead. Clemson at Boston College. What do you guys think about Clemson? Are you on board with Clemson? No? Something about recent history. I don't know. I heard about it. I'll ask about it later. Clemson is about a 3-touchdown favorite at Boston College. The line's about 20.5 right now. I'm looking on our monitor. So at Caesars, it's about 20.5. The purely dynamic side of things, you know, the part of me that appreciates scheduling and how hard it is to be up 3 weeks in a row in college football, that makes me look at this and at least say, let me set a reminder. Let me make sure to check on this game. Because I know they had to be up for Wake Forest. It was an overtime game. I know they definitely had to be up to play as good as I've seen Clemson play in 2 years last week when they beat NC State. I know that. Can you get a college team up a 3rd week in a row to the degree they need to be to avoid stumbling here? But when I look at how fat that line is, I keep coming back to the idea of cover versus upset. Are they going to cover? The model actually says no, for what it's worth. The model actually looks and kind of likes Boston College. What it doesn't like them to do, though, is challenged in the fourth quarter because of the horrific nature of the Boston College offensive line. And it's one of the big mismatches in the ACC this Saturday, actually. Boston College up front offensively against Clemson defensively. I'm going to put this at a 4, okay, because there still is that memory that's not too foggy in my mind about what happened last year when Clemson didn't click. They're clicking this year so far. But if you have that clunker of a game, could be close, I'm going to put it at a 4. Lastly, I'm going to ask about 2 more teams here. I'm going to ask about a matchup. I just want you guys to shout out who you would prefer to win this game. Auburn versus Georgia. So hold on just a second. Hold on. So just by a show of cheer, if you would prefer Georgia to win this game, let me hear you. If you would prefer Auburn to win this game, let me hear you. Let me tell you what you just heard, okay? For those of you who live in Fargo, North Dakota, or South Dakota, you probably think that these people despise Auburn and don't care about Georgia because you've only heard about the rivalry aspect. These people aren't threatened by Auburn. They don't really care. That's why half of them are pulling for Auburn to beat Georgia, because that's the kind of dynamic that exists in this state now. I have no idea how this were to happen. If it does happen, I have no idea how it would happen. I do know how, again, Georgia doesn't cover. I watched them last week. I watched them the week before. But does anyone want to paint a scenario for me? Like, is there anyone in this room who could sell me on Auburn money line? Would anyone put their own money on that? I have a really hard time. I said put actual money on it now, not just say it. You're putting money on it? Could you please come here? Okay. So we're talking Auburn, Georgia here. I'm going to ask you your name.
I'm Russell Dow.
Hello, Russell. Do you, I'm just going to ask a personal question. Are you broke or do you have money?
I mean, I have a little bit of money.
You have a little bit of money. Okay. And the last remaining dollars you have in your bank account, you would be willing to bet on Auburn.
I would. Stetson Bennett's weak. He's not an elite quarterback. Give me Robbie Ashford and Tank Bigsby. Georgia's thrown 2 goose eggs out there against Kent State and Missouri. I'm telling you, I'm feeling Auburn this game. Easy.
Okay, now, the follow-up, hold on, let me just be fair here. The follow-up question that I want to ask you, and here's an Academy gift card for your troubles. That's not charity, it's because of what I'm about to do to you. Could you tell me your favorite moment from Auburn quarterbacks this year?
You know, Robbie Ashford had a really long block run where he showed a lot of effort. That takes some heart right there. I've not seen that out of Stetson Bennett or almost anybody on Georgia's team whatsoever. I mean, I'm just waiting for the SEC championship game because Georgia makes it, they're done for.
Okay, Russell, I'm going to shake your hand. I respect the boldness. I cannot respect the pick necessarily, but I respect the boldness. Meanwhile, are you ready? Are you ready to take Auburn? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?
Fine. Okay, I think on the discussion between Georgia and Auburn, so I think Georgia definitely is better. What? Than Auburn? Just go. No, okay. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, look. This is not happening. And I don't care what the people in Tuscaloosa say. This is not happening Saturday. 0.5 is the rating on which this upset is possible. So, yes, you could see some. I just don't think it's happening in Athens, Georgia this Saturday. But look, the follow-up question we're going to ask a little bit later is, if that's not true, if our boy Russell is wrong, and if it's like 38-3 in the fourth quarter, well, then we have to start asking ourselves a different question, and that is, who's the head coach of this team next week? Who's the head coach of this team next month? Who's the head coach by the time they play Alabama? You know? That's the kind of conversation that we start to get in.
Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure and leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.